amogus.
Yep, Among Us was a big franchise besides Fall Guys and was a hit in 2020 when everyone was in lockdown while the pandemic was active worldwide. But, did you know that Among Us was released 5 years ago? Even before the pandemic started, the game existed back in 2018, but it was a time where Among Us wasn't popular and nobody cared besides the other games. But why was Among Us so popular and why did it downfall besides Fall Guys, and why the new Among Us map the Fungle wouldn't generate a new peak? If you want to know why, then I recommend to stay in this video. Let's go. Before we take a look how Among Us made a big downfall, let's start with the beginning of the company Innersloth. In 2007, a man called Marcus Bromander aka Puffballs United started his video game career on Newgrounds, and made his first game called Crossing the Pit. Crossing the Pit is a point-and-click game where you should choose an option what the stickman should do and to cross over the pit. But you can't win in this game. This game was meant to be a joke, but we all can appreciate this. And the stickman in this game wasn't even Henry, it was a random stickman that doesn't have a name. Henry Stickmin's first appearance was 1 year later in 2008 where the game Breaking the Bank was made. It's also a point-and-click game where you should choose an option similar to Crossing the Pit. The big difference to this game is that the style has changed and the story was made longer. After the success of Breaking the Bank, Marcus Puffballs United Bromander made a timeline from 2010 to 2015, 4 different Henry Stickmin games on Newgrounds. Escaping the prison from 2010, Stealing the Diamond from 2011, Infiltrating the Airship from 2013 and Fleeing the Complex from 2015. Also there was 2 new characters that was added in the series. Charles Calvine made his first appearance in Infiltrating the Airship and Ellie Rose made her first appearance in Fleeing the Complex. Both characters were loved by the fans. And in 2015, the same year where he made the game Fleeing the Complex, he founded the game company called Innersloth together with Forrest Willard, after they quit as employees of Microsoft. Yes, they were employees of Microsoft back then. Innersloth is registered as a limited liability company or LLC for short. That's why it's called Innersloth LLC. The team consists of 3 video game developers and is based in Redmond in Washington, USA. Developers rarely meet in person and prefer to work remotely. In 2015, after they made the most ugliest logo in history and even before publishing Fleeing the Complex, they made their first game called Dig to China. Dig to China is a single-player action game developed and published by Innersloth LLC. It was initially released on Newgrounds on January 23, 2015, and saw a mobile release 5 days later. On Newgrounds, the game runs on Adobe Flash, while on mobile, it runs on Unity. Dig to China takes place in an American neighborhood, particularly in the kid's backyard. In the game's intro scene, he is seen building the digger, and catches the attention of his neighbor, the bully. After explaining that he is digging to China, the bully doubts that he can do so, and continues to throughout the game. As the player purchases upgrades using money gained from treasure, the digger's performance is improved, allowing for it to dig deeper and more efficiently. Dig to China features 13 different layers that the kid must dig through, each featuring different enemies, fuel, obstacles, and treasure. The game was a semi-success, but it still wasn't in world success between the other games. In 2016 there was nothing in the company, for real. In 2017 the Innersloth team had begun to devote their efforts full-time to the company, and it was also the beginning of the game that was Space Mafia. The game was created by 2 persons, Marcus Puffballs United and Amy Lou. Before the name Among Us existed, the game was called Space Mafia as in pre-prototype of Among Us. But after a time the game's name was changed to Among Us and the first footages of the game was recorded and it was similar to the today's game, not gonna lie. After several versions of Among Us, the game was released on 15th of June 2018 and a month later for the PC on Steam, and we all know how this game was launched. The game's launch was a complete failure and nobody actually cared about the game and became the most unsuccessful game by Innersloth ever back then. This game wasn't even better than Dig2 China, and Innersloth thought after that failure that they were concentrating on their other big project, and they abandoned and stopped working on the game after that for a while. Until some streamers discovered the game early 2019, and some people preferred it. And it was a semi-success like Dig2 China, but still was not a world success. The first milestone for the game was made on May 2019, where 1 million people downloaded the game, and the devs thought, should have further and improve our game? And that is exactly what they wanted to do. On August 9th they added the map Myra HQ, and on November 19th the map Bolus. At this point everything was still okay. The next year, some streamers stopped the devs again to abandon their game for the second time, because a streamer from the UK generated a new wave of European players, and once again the game was still alive. And after 6 months, the game started to gain its popularity, and that is exactly how it goes viral. The game was a big success at the end of September in 2020. Many YouTubers, many streamers and the world was playing the game while everyone was in quarantine playing in the lockdown. It was a fun game to play, and even Among Us channels were made. I also was attracted to play the game and I said why not. And before I played the game I watched some YouTube videos to be sure how to play this game, and I saw many viral YouTubers were playing this game. After I watched some YouTube videos, I started to play with my brother Among Us for the first time and I quite enjoyed it. And I was imposter in the 6th match for the first time, but my first win as imposter was 3 matches later, and I was so flashed after I played their game. It was fun to play. I was playing, you was playing, everyone was playing the game. And at this point, everything went. Homelander, can you explain it please?
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
In August 2020, the team shifted focus onto a sequel, Among Us 2. During this time, Forrest Willard and Amy Lou continued to update Among Us, increasing the maximum player base, adding 4 servers and 3 regions, and implementing longer multiplayer codes to support more concurrent games. On September 23, 2020, the team announced that they abandoned development of the sequel in favor of reworking the original game's codebase, which they described as outdated and not built to support adding so much new content, so the team made plans to rework the game's core code to enable adding new features. The team subsequently announced their plans to fix the game's server issues and widespread cheating problem, as well as add a system for banning disruptive players. In October 2020, colorblind support for the Wires task was added to the Among Us beta on Steam, as well as some previously unannounced lobby customization options. But after several updates the game slightly lost its peak, but it's still a big player in the gaming competition. But on December 2020, yes, after my birthday that is also coming soon, Innersloth made a trailer that should revolution the game. But they didn't know that this update is the beginning of the end. They announced the Airship, what makes a lot of people very hyped at the moment. The Airship was the best Among Us map that was made back then and looked very cool in my opinion. The only negative I can say about the map, it was too big and it was complicated to find the tasks. Yeah, it was a hard time. But still, everyone was hyped about the update. Wow, the map is coming early 2021, that will be fun. Oh, the result after this update was a complete disaster. Among Us started to lose its popularity very quick and started a big downfall. There are 3 reasons why Among Us started to downfall after this update. First, the memes. The memes are the biggest reason why Among Us started to downfall, starting with the word sus. Sus means that someone or something is suspicious in just 3 letters. And to this day the word is still active worldwide for young people. This came so far that even a news anchor used this word.
Sus.
But for me is the meme amogus the worst meme that killed the game. I don't know which idiot invented this word that makes no sense, but this meme killed the hype so far and it's your fault if you used this meme before in your videos or said this word. Second, the players. The players are also a reason why Among Us downfalled. A lot of young players that playing in a pro lobby, and it's also common in today's Among Us lobbies that were dumb where a lot players were kids. Toxic where most players were disrespectful shit and cried in and after the game, or the worst one, sex lobbies. I don't know what I should say about this. Innersloth wanted to stop these problems and they added the filter option so pro players can join in a pro lobby and the report system was updated, but this wasn't very helpful and the report system doesn't work properly. And third, Innersloth himself. Not only the players destroyed the game's hype, Innersloth was also the reason why the game lost its peak. After they announced the Airship, they do nothing for a few months after they uploaded the announcement. And I still remember how Innersloth failed during this timeline. The players were confused and started to asking where the f is the new map. Innersloth didn't responded at first, and then they got the release date and they set it to the end of March of 2021. What is a mistake from Innersloth to reveal their map so late? The players started to quit Among Us even before the Airship was released. And now we're looking at the best Among Us updates that was ever made. Not, if the free chat is too complicated for you, don't worry. We're introducing quick chat where you can chat with words that is only available. And there's another cool update, if you want to secure your account, even if you don't have. Don't worry, we introduced the Guardian email system where you can chat only with quick chat if you don't have an account. That is the update where the players are hyped for. Not. After the Airship was finally released, many players left and even more quitting the game forever. The game is now completely damaged and in the next months the game is still falling apart and even there's no sign when the game is stable again. Among Us is the end near. The game wasn't even successful for a half year and players starting to quit the game. It was an chaotical situation right now and the devs need a solution before the game completely breaks apart. And what happened after the downfall? Well, they continued releasing updates to the game. Even the Guardian email and quick chat weren't killed. Innersloth introduced 5 new colors to the game: coral, tan, gray, maroon and the aesthetic colors rose and pastel. I mean banana. And on this Summer Game Fest 2021 on June 10th, Innersloth revealed, they're working alongside other upcoming content, including a 5th map. What we're talking about this soon, the new hide and seek mode and new roles. And they made a roadmap for their players. And 5 days later, they made a 15-player lobby support update, which sounds very cool. 1 month later they introduced a new task called Clean Event and that was assigned for the new role Engineer that came 4 months later with Shapeshifter, Engineer, Scientist, and Guardian Angel. They also introduced at that time the new achievements, a level system, controller support, custom keybinds, visor cosmetics, cosmetic bundles called Cosmic Cubes. What I wanted to criticize this later, various in-game currencies and a major revamp to the in-game store which also reveals the names of the costumes. And at this point I on the Cosmic Cubes that was released. I wasn't very happy about the update because I knew which way Innersloth went and they wanted to make money with their Cosmic Cubes. But I can say, the Cosmic Cubes wasn't a cash grab. But they do it secretly and I am not joking around. At the time from November 2021 to November 2023 I saw the Cosmic Cubes are getting expensive and they minimizing their content on the Cosmic Cubes strategically so nobody will look and don't care what was changed or was removed. But let's head back to the update. At the end of March 2022, or a year after the downfall, Innersloth releases a friending system where players were able to add friends and playing with them. But the only problem is, the friending system looks unfinished. They forgot to add a sign if the player is online or offline, what makes everyone confusing and makes the friending system almost useless. You can't also see the name of the players. What I wanted to ask, why? On June 21, 2022 the game was patched to include colorblind text, what actually is a very useful feature for blind people. And 1 month before the Game Awards 2022, Innersloth released their VR version of Among Us and I can say, it was kinda cool. I don't to say my opinion about that because I am not a VR person. If you like the VR version then it's okay. At the Game Awards 2022 on December 8th it was announced that the hide-and-seek mode would be released on the following day. Also to the hide-and-seek mode, my most popular video was a meme trailer of that and is from January 21st 2023, got 2,3 million views and I was shocked after I saw the view count. Without that video I would still be a homeless person. On July 2023 they added a new UI which makes the menu screen more uncool and closed. I know it's not that bad but I don't like it. I like the old charm more than this. And on September 14th during the Nintendo Direct, the fifth map the Fungle was announced and I can say, everybody was hyped at the moment. But after a month, they finally released the new map. Instead of massive hype, they got nothing.
Huh?
And it's because they worked for a single map and they needed 2 years to make it. Yes, 2 years for a single map. This is like the timeline from my channel's beginning to today. People still preferred the map but this isn't like the Airship anymore and the hype wouldn't return after the game was thrown into a trash can. And at the moment, the game still downfalls very slightly and more players quit it. Among Us forever. Among Us, the game that was popular during the pandemic, was a big franchise with many YouTubers, streamers and had a big fan base that was playing their game. After they made their mistake early 2021, the game isn't like 2020 anymore and the hype won't return anymore. Even with the new map the Fungle, Innersloth had to accept their fate that the game won't growing again and won't be Fall Guys 2.0. Now let's ask Innersloth, why did you destroy your own creation?
Hello, I like money.